Welcome once again onto News Tonight. My name is Patricia Lukoma once again to take you through what's making headlines. Now, the new Bishop of Karamoja Diocese, the Right Reverend Michael Chore, has received a donation of a brand new vehicle to assist him in his pastoral duties. The Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, white in color, was handed over to the newly consecrated and enthroned bishop by the Vice President, Major Jessica Alopo.
His Excellency the President guided that as he asked me to announce from the ceremony that the car should be ready within the course of the week, and I did my best until yesterday they assured me that the car was ready, and then I asked them to invite you so that you come and receive it in order to use it to start your pastoral work. But besides that, I want to congratulate you again. It's not an undertaking which is a usual one. It's a very rare undertaking of pursuing the line of being a religious leader, but also being a religious leader going through stages, going through all those ranks up to the one of the bishop. So it is a clear testimony that you are among those who are both called and chosen. And we expect that you will be now a fresh brain in trying to refine the relationship of all the people of Karamoja in brotherliness, but most importantly also in prosperity, working for government programs and changing the lives of people in their home states, Karamoja being one of the areas which is impoverished in the country. So we really look forward to a fresh and new appointment of the bishop of the region to leverage that wisdom to help the government also to propel the programs. And you also talked about it. So we will not forget that bishop's charge. You are interested in their spiritual well-being, but also their physical well-being. And His Excellency the President has accepted to buy those books of the Archbishop, 5,000 books for all the interreligious council members. Yes. And anything that you would like to relate to His Excellency the President, you feel free to relate to us. We shall get the message to him. So we are here available. We are at your service as Christians first and foremost. Secondly, as your daughters, but also thirdly now as leaders.
I'm not beginning from back home. There have been those people who have laid foundation on which I'm coming to build my other predecessors. So I pledge to follow their footsteps and do what they have been doing, especially in ensuring in our own capacity as a church that we develop our people spiritually, and socially, and emotionally. Government systems, and we have seen how the church has benefited from working closely with the government. And also, we now have some peace in Karamoja, and it is government effort. And we are going to add efforts of the church in preaching peace. So we want to thank the government of Uganda through the forces and all systems that has been able to pacify the region.
So Karamoja will never be the same again. Jose has done a very strong foundation for Karamoja in all angles.
I know the area is wide, but now that you have given me this means of transport, I will use it so much and exclusively for pastoral work. With my team here, we will use this means of transport, this vehicle, to enable us to reach so that we can function as a diocese.
Now, Parliament has considered a motion to introduce free and compulsory boarding schools in Karamoja sub-region. The sitting in Gulu has given the government 6 months to study the initiative as proposed by Achia Remigio.
Pion County Member of Parliament Achia Remigio moved a motion to urge government to formulate a policy of compulsory free boarding education for Karamoja sub-region.
For every 100 children in Karamoja, today, for the girls, for every 100 girls that go to P1, only 12 finish primary 7 and go to secondary. And for the boys, 25 of them finish primary and go to secondary school. Where do the rest go?
MP Remigio justifies that the move will address challenges contributing to school dropouts, including walking long distances to access schools, early marriages, and other health-related issues.
So these early marriages also has a dimension of worsening the infant mortality, the under 5 mortality, the maternal mortality.
The MPs fronted that the initiative will also add credit to the disarmament exercise through improving mental and mindset towards education.
When you do it, you will liberate not just the children who cannot access an education at the moment, but also the women, so that they will be able to focus their energy on the other welfare needs. Because the burden of tuition, in addition to what they're already carrying, is too much.
Education is the only comprehensive and sustainable mechanism to put an end to cattle rustling in the region of Karamoja and Acholi sub-region.
Karamoja sub-region accommodates 11 ethnic groups that need affirmative action on education. In line with promoting and enhancing education in Karamoja, the MPs underscored the urgent need for government support on the proposed Peace and Technology University, which is being spearheaded by the Catholic institution.
But there's also need to have the schools that will pick on them. Like Father Onen was saying, where did this educated Karamojang come from? People studied outside Karamoja, and those who studied outside Karamoja were children of chiefs.
On Thursday, President Yoweri Museveni implored the MPs to support the government cause for free education. The Minister of State for Primary Education, Joyce Kaduchu, told the House, chaired by Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa, that the policy, if agreed upon by Cabinet, should also benefit other regions.
As Cabinet looked at it, Karamoja is not alone. We have the disaster-prone places. Like I talk about the island, I talk about the disaster-prone places. So that is what Cabinet is looking at. The Deputy Speaker, Tayebwa, asked Minister Kaduchu to utilize 6 months to respond to the prayers adopted in the motion.
This is a motion urging, so when you develop a policy, then you go into seeing how best you can implement it.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabenji, UBC News.
Now, former Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Geraldine Sali Busurwa, along with members of Parliament, Michael Mawanda, Paul Akamba, and lawyer Kiria Taitankoko, have been released on a cash bail of 35 million each. The Anti-Corruption High Court Judge Jen Akuo Kajuga is presiding over the 3 billion shilling scandal case involving funds meant for Buyaka Growers Cooperative Society Limited war compensation.
The Anti-Corruption Court, presided over by Justice Jenny Okuwa Kajuga, has granted bail to MPs Michael Mawanda, Paul Akamba, lawyer Kiria Taitankoko, and former Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Trade Geraldine Salibusurwa. The 3 billion shilling scandal case involves the alleged abuse of war compensation funds meant for Buyaka Growers Cooperative Society Limited.
Was heard actually here in court. Before it was heard, they were therefore aware of the fact that the applicant intended to substitute one of the sureties, and they had that information the day before. When the application came up, the respondents made no request for time to verify the particulars before I proceeded to hear the application. I'm of the considered view that verifying whether a member of parliament is indeed one is one of the easiest, non-time consuming processes. I will therefore decline to disqualify that surety. None of the sureties provided bank statements, just like in the Mutembuli case, for the reasons cited in that ruling and echoed previously in this one, and for absence of evidence of bad character or negative antecedents, I find that they meet the requirements of Rule 7.
Their release was also based on the extended time they have spent on remand, the substantial sureties presented, and their financial capabilities. They ordered to deposit their passports with the court. The accused and their relatives were happy with the ruling.
The only message I can give you is that I have resurrected, and I will start from where I stopped. Omulamuzi akoze judgment enungi ngekora balance wakati wa eddembe ly'omuntu ate n'obuvunanyizibwa bw'okulaba nti akomawo mu kooti okuwoza emisango egimuwaabirwa. Judgment nungi nnyo kubanga finally abawaabirwa bafuna eddembe lyabwe.
He also issued criminal summons to former State Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Agnes Nandutu, to appear on 16th November 2024 on charges of mismanaging Karamoja iron sheets.
I'm very happy. I'm proud to see advocate and a friend of Honorable Mawanda. And we are very happy he has been released on bail. And of course he will not abscond, he will come back.
Now, the Kampala International University Student Council has appealed to the government to relocate the victims of Kiteezi landfill collapse before the schools reopen for the third term. During a visit to Kiteezi landfill, the Student Council provided food items, books, sanitary towels, and other essentials, focusing on school-going children.
The Kampala International University Student Council has urged government to prioritize the relocation of Kiteezi victims, especially considering the imminent reopening of schools. The council's initiative was inspired by the plight of school-going children affected by the landfill collapse at the start of the holiday.
We were saddened to hear about what happened to the people of Kiteezi, the incident of garbage. So we decided as the guild leaders to come up with some relief to help these people out, those that were injured. Because in these people there are children, there are babies, there are school-going children. You would think of these people who are going to school because we are also going to school. It pains us seeing these people cannot go anymore to school because of what happened.
They also wish the government could explore more sustainable waste management solutions.
This dump site has been there for 15 years, meaning that even where they have relocated that dump site, if they don't want to make amendments in what they had made, it means this thing that happened to Kiteezi people, it will also follow the other people where the dump site is. Meaning that we will not have sort of the problem, but we will have brought the problem to other different people. So my prayer to the government is to take the requisite steps to make sure that the city is clean, and after that the garbage is collected and recycled. We can produce electricity through that.
To look for another way of managing waste.
The Guild Council encourages other universities and institutions of higher learning to extend their support to the children of Kiteezi in any way they can.
Each and every student of KIU really joined hands for this cause to happen. And I want to take this opportunity to also call upon other universities.
The collapse of the Kiteezi landfill on August 10, 2024 has underscored the urgent need for a sustainable and safer waste management strategy. Winnie Ainembabazi Katwire, Tanaba Kenneth for UBC.
Now, Busoga Kingdom has dismissed allegations of disunity between the chiefdoms of the Bugabula and Zibondo. At a press conference held at Shabazinga headquarters in Bugembe, focusing on the upcoming 10th coronation anniversary, the kingdom also addressed concerns regarding the return of their properties.
Richard Mafumu, the minister in charge of culture for Busoga Kingdom, clarified the allegations of division and disunity between the Bugabula and Zibondo chiefdoms during the press conference, which also covered preparations for the 10th coronation anniversary. Mafumu emphasized that the kingdom's progress is due to unity and teamwork, as highlighted by the Chabazinga himself. Mafumu noted that since the first coronation ceremony 9 years ago, the kingdom has implemented several programs benefiting all its subjects.
The public, the well-wishers, and Busoga in particular, to participate and be around while our king is marking 10 years of his reign.
The anniversary will raise awareness about environmental degradation and will include a tree planting drive and other activities.
We are going to have more interesting activities in Bukung.
The event, which will be held for the first time in Bukungu, Budiopewe and the district, will feature Inebantu, Jovia Mutesi.
Now, looking at the region, the East African Secondary Schools Performing Arts Festival has concluded at Mwiri College, emphasizing the role of performing arts and artists in music, dance and drama, and their contribution to the integration of the East African community. Let's hear more.
Loud cheers echoed from the playground of Mwiri College School as 10 essays was announced as the eventual winners of this year's MDD competitions.
Well, it's been a long struggle. We've really struggled. We've gone through much. It's been so much. It's been mocked, borrowed bus, Febache, but today it's us. I'm very happy, and for the all of Chitenda community, we are very, very happy.
This year's edition vested on deepening culture ties and East Africa integration.
From the few presentations I've been able to see and witness today, I have been reassured that the performances are portraying important messages about contemporary issues in our region, such as climate change, talent identification and development, curriculum reforms for relevant or competence-based education, specifically in our East African community integration. I'm pleased that we're using MDD as one of the most effective initiatives to foster the spirit of collaboration and integration among the East African community partner states.
The MDD participants today have asked the government to prioritize also giving them affirmative action when they are joining universities, just like their counterparts who do sports.
Uganda should also give us, add on us some weights, because people are at home reading and we are spending time in this performing arts. We are giving it all we can instead of being in class with the rest.
When children one time comes for students in year 6 to apply to go to high institutions of learning, there's affirmative action from the sports where a child has some points. If he has competed to national levels, he has a bonus mark before he gets his results from the senior 6. It would also apply to MDD. Why? Because they all consume time. The child uses part of the time for academics to compete.
We have gotten new friends, and then the experience of interacting with
Kenyans and learning, like to know what other people really wish for East Africa.
So we managed to this year to start with a small contribution, a token of appreciation to the best overall school, where we provided a 55-inch smart TV, which comes with a 1-year package for internet, so that they can embrace and adopt the use of modern technology.
From here, we have learnt a diversity of cultures.
Crispus Arinitwe, UBC News.
Thank you very much there, Crispus Arinitwe. Now, tertiary institutions are urging government to exempt training and skills development equipment from taxation. The Deputy Secretary UPTEB, Dr. Wilfred Nahamia, says the high charges imposed by tertiary institutions are largely due to the steep taxes on skilling equipment.
Vocational and tertiary institutions play a crucial role in skills development due to their focus on career-oriented education. However, most of these institutions operate under private management and are self-funded, yet they face significant taxation on procurement of skilling tools. The Deputy Secretary General UBTEB, Dr. Wilfred Nahamia, says these high taxes on skilling equipment have contributed to the rising costs within these institutions.
The ministry is the Ministry of Education and Sports under the Department of TVETOM is now relicensing all private institutions, and we are encouraging parents to now take their children to only licensed institutions, but which are also examined at national level, examined by the board, like Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board.
The director of Chadondo Technical Institute, Sabala, Asadu Serwanja, highlighted that these taxes have negatively impacted on student enrollment into skills-based institutions, despite their significant contribution to self-employment skills.
Government must be straightforward on the progress of these youngsters. We are seeing that students from senior 6 are getting direct entries on government in universities. But the trainees whom we graduate from this side after certificate are seen just like that. The same applies to those who are doing diplomas.
Institution leaders are appealing to government to introduce tax exemptions on skilling tools and equipment.
Is the process of getting training equipment for our learners. If it needs reducing taxes or removing taxes from these training materials, especially those imported.
During the third graduation ceremony of Chadondo Technical Institute in Usabala, Dr. Nahamia commended private institutions for their efforts in training self-reliant students.
It is the vocational and technical education that is likely to employ more people and solve a bigger problem of the youth unemployment.
Deus Kanaba, the principal of the institute, urged graduates to become innovative thinkers for their own benefit.
Ensure to transform yourselves into intellectual thinkers. But the biggest enemy of progress is short-term thinking, fast gains, money orientation, and forget about the long-term benefits of networks.
The keynote speaker, Dr. Sam Kaziwe, advised graduates to stay vigilant against influences that might divert them from their goals.
In life, there are always outliers. And for us researchers, we can never make conclusions based on outliers. So as a graduating class, never make assumptions using outliers. There is no empirical evidence that people who do not go to school succeed in life. There is no evidence to that. The examples you see are just outliers.
Some of the graduates shared their experiences during the ceremony.
In my field, because I know now a lot, I can do programming, we can make websites as the IT class, we can use different programming languages, we can do graphics design. We've acquired academic and non-academic skills, that is the co-cultural activities. We never came here for only academic.
A total of 163 students received certificates and diplomas in various fields.
Now, as Uganda continues to develop its tourism industry, Karamoja's unique offerings could become a major attraction, drawing visitors from around the world eager to experience a way of life that is increasingly rare. Now, this was revealed by the Minister of State for Gender and Culture, Peace Mutunzo, at Uganda Media Center, Kampala.
The theme is celebrating cultural diversity, peaceful coexistence, and tourism for sustainable development. The objective of this celebration is to celebrate identities through traditional events, which include showcasing our culture through positive values, to strengthening the role of women, elders and youth in a peaceful coexistence and preservation of culture, and most importantly, to package culture as a tourism commodity, and also to rise up our values and our roots as the ethical community. Government of Uganda has supported this festival with 200 million shillings. And we have a number of activities from the 2nd to the 7th. First of all, we'll be to dialogue intensively to ensure that we really usher in peace. 2, have games, a number of games, have the park ride. There will be a culture match, will be storytelling, and we shall also visit the tourism centers around there, including Kidepo. The whole essence of this matter is to ensure that we now look at each other as brothers and sisters and defer all things that were relating to rustling of cattle, negative cultural practices, but now promote peaceful coexistence between the ethical community.
Now, looking at Wananchi, youth have called on government to support their projects and equip them with skills aimed at eradicating poverty. This appeal was made during a career guidance seminar held at Lugogo Vocational Training Institute in Kampala.
A selected number of students have received training and knowledge aimed at rebuilding careers of young professionals during a seminar held at Lugogo Training Institute. The founder of Roma Consultants Limited Uganda, Vincent Osinde, encouraged the youth to adopt new skills as a way to navigate and manage the changing dynamics of the job market.
Commitment. So if you are committed, how can you juggle? It is about commitment. And then following your passion. Look for something you're passionate about, something you love to do, whether for money or no money. See how your passion gave you a job. You were just trying to empower young girls on your own, making a contribution.
The founder and chief executive officer, Women Africa Foundation, Gloria Namakula, emphasized the importance of embracing this program as a pathway to gaining valuable knowledge.
Wherever you are, that you take up opportunities of volunteering, because once you expose yourself and tap into relationship with different people who are already in the working sector, there are certain things you learn. Ideally in Uganda, what we learn is totally different to what we find in the field of work. So come and get hands-on.
The Chief Executive Officer, Wananchi Youth Patriotic Forum, Kazungu Gerard, urged the youth to volunteer and participate in government programs and non-profit organizations to acquire more skills.
There are some things you're going to gain. One, there is social networking. Since we have youths from different areas and you gather in one place, you get to know each other. That is social networking. Secondly, there is acquiring knowledge. Since we hire professionals to come here and share some knowledge via the topics that we set. Indeed, they help youths to gain some knowledge.
The conference, held under the theme, Rebuild Your Career, served as a wake-up call to the authorities and an encouragement to the youth in their potential and capabilities. Robert Katamba and Viola Navasa, UBC News.
It's time for us to take a short break and return with more news.
MTN ekutusako papa patetua Busoga Tinukuru mukaganga satubuli mwezi guno gwa munana jangu kudams water kuraga backgrounds tunyumirwe ngokuyingira jinja kuba emitwalo 2 naye ticket wogigulira ku MTN momo ogifuna ku mutwalo gumu ye ya VIP ya mitwalo 3 kati nonyiga *165*2 noti hash oba kozesa momo app wegulire ticket yo ku MTN momo ku bei rahisi tosubwa abayimbi bonna be Kampala n'abe Busoga papapatene tegekedwa Douglas Rwanga nekutusi wako MTN.
Together we're unstoppable.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
The East Africa UK Tourism and Cultural Expo 2024 is here, happening on 8th and 9th of November 2024 under the theme Enhancing Tourism as Engine for Social and Economic Transformation on the sidelines of WTM London at the Rembrandt Hotel, 11 Thurlow, PI South Kensington, London, SW7 2RS, United Kingdom. For tickets, exhibitors will pay £1,000 and participants will pay £300. For more information, call +256 787 096 100 or +254 795 806 969. Visit www.eaukTourismExpo.com to register.
Banyeta ko Muhangi Donata the chairperson wa group. I
am the chairperson of this group that got money. The group is called Kalsandala HIV/AIDS Craftswomen Group. UWEP gave us money in 2017 and they gave us 3.3 million Ugandan shillings. We used it in 1 year and got 23 million out of it. We do baskets and kitchen gardens, and we also have a saving group. We thank UWEP because this money helped us as women. Women can now educate their children and build houses because many of them are single mothers. We work without jealousy because we want to leave a legacy that even those who will be around tomorrow will appreciate.
Uganda fire! Endiva fire! Our border fire! Uganda! Thank you for showing your fire! Has Nambole Stadium opened its doors once again? Fire! While you were moving in, you were the 12th player. When Uganda Cranes needed you the most. Fire! Through our famous wins against Karamoja and our unlucky losses, you stood firm, supporting even louder. Fire! Now, as Uganda Cranes take on South Africa and Congo this September, South Sudan in October, and play our second legs against South Africa and Congo in November, bring even more fire!
Because with your support, Uganda Cranes is unstoppable! Uganda Fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda Cranes. Together, we are unstoppable.
Welcome back from that short break, and once again we are blessed that you're still tuned onto the only channel that tends to entertain and educate you. Now, in business, government plans to engage stakeholders from 4 key sectors: agriculture, tourism and manufacturing plus ICT, in a dialogue aimed at promoting local investment and economic growth. Let's hear more in this report.
The Ugandan investors from all over Uganda, we want to invite you to come.
Local investors and manufacturers have repeatedly called on the government and implementing agencies like URA and UNBS to introduce tax incentives that ease the operational challenges they face. In response, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, along with other entities, has organized a conference to explore ways to promote local economies.
And Economic Development has organized a conference on tax initiatives, incentives, and tax policies and tax administration for Ugandan investors. This is scheduled for 4th September 2024 at Hotel Africana.
Speaking at the media briefing on Friday, Minister Evelyn Anita disclosed that the conference will address numerous questions raised by stakeholders.
This conference is a key initiative in our ongoing efforts to promote investment and economic growth in Uganda. The conference will focus on the following aspects: a comprehensive review of the current tax framework and its role in driving the country's economic development.
Anita is optimistic that the conference will serve as a baseline for discussions on revenue, tax frameworks and incentives.
Detailed discussion on the incentives available for Ugandan investors aimed at fostering growth in vital sectors that will be focusing on manufacturing, agriculture, tourism, and ICT. The next one, we will focus on the other sectors.
The event will also address concerns raised by players in the tourism and hospitality sectors.
I know how much it's important to pay taxes, but what we request as private sector is a harmonized tax policy, and why I'm calling on everybody to be present at this conference.
With the introduction of the new conformity digital mark system, stakeholders will learn how it ensures transparency and more briefs on tax exemptions.
As Uganda Revenue Authority, we will be showcasing all the incentives that Ugandan investors and business people who are in these strategic sectors can benefit from. Tax incentives such as a 10-year tax holiday, incentives on VAT, stamp duty, excise duty, on strategic sectors like manufacturing, ICT, agro-processing, and tourism. These are really sectors that government wants to grow.
For any of the excisable, it has to conform before you are issued with the digital tax stamp. So that is the digital tax stamp. It is run both by UNBS and URA. For all the excisable products must conform to the standards, and before even you're issued with the sticker, the stamps, you must have conformed to the required standards. Now, the digital conformity mark is exclusively the one for UNBS.
Attendance at the conference will be by registration only, with the Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, expected to officiate the event. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
And now, in the area of digital skilling, MTN Uganda has launched the MTN Skilling Program aimed at fostering meaningful change and driving Uganda's digital agenda by equipping the youth with the digital competences needed to thrive in the rapid evolving job market. These remarks were made during the signing ceremony of a Memorandum of Understanding between MTN and Uganda Christian University.
This collaboration serves as a beacon
as a beacon of hope, and it marks a significant milestone in our shared mission to empower Uganda's bright and energetic youth with the digital skills necessary for the promising jobs of tomorrow. So we hope to create a future where every Ugandan is equipped with the best tools to succeed in the digital age.
Comes in to meet what we're strategically aiming for. And I'll highlight 4 areas. One is that we have launched our strategic plan for 2024-2030, our 7-year strategic plan. And our strategic aim, number 6, is digitization. We believe that we shall play our part in bringing on board to ensure that we shall celebrate yet more graduates of this program, but also see how we can speak to it, because we used a phrase that we are a university that knows the Ugandan academic landscape. So we hope that by knowing the Ugandan landscape, we can look at some modules and see that we can tailor some modules to speak to the Ugandan context. And I think that's what we can enrich and bring on board.
As we cross borders, health experts in the Democratic Republic of Congo are sounding the alarm about the impact of the mpox outbreak among women and children living with HIV/AIDS, especially those in and around the conflict zones. The DRC's country director for the Elizabeth Glesser Pediatric AIDS Foundation, Dr. John Dite Kemena, sheds light on the mpox spread in Congo and available treatment of this particular virus, as well as about the spread of HIV/AIDS among women who are victims of sexual violence.
Ikakuwa ruje, ikavimba.
And in sports, a 2-day athlete 365 Career Plus workshop organized by Uganda Olympic Committee has climaxed at Northview Hotel in Kampala. Let's hear more from John Barnes Center.
The longevity of most athletes doesn't usually go beyond 25 years, yet many of these athletes live well beyond their nation's life expectancy, yet in bad conditions. To ensure Uganda sees an end to former stars living in deplorable situations, Uganda Olympic Committee organized an Athlete 365 career workshop. It attracted athletes from all Uganda Olympic Committee affiliated federations and was tutored by Olympians Ganzi Mugula and Kadi Kanyute of Mali. The athletes were taken through various modules to help them during and after their careers.
It's like we sportsmen have this vision that we only have to do sports, but this workshop has helped me that even there is life after sport.
With most athletes, we think there's not much life out of sport, but there is. So it's really helped me, it's challenged me to look more inward and see what I can do to improve as a professional outside of sports.
Career Plus 365 has been grateful, has been awesome. Lessons learned, career-wise, how to prepare yourself going into the job sector, writing CVs, and also networking, marketing, everything inclusive. It's been great. I'm thankful to the Uganda Olympics Committee for organizing this wonderful 2-day seminar.
It was closed by Uganda Olympic Committee President Dr. Donald Rukare, who tasked participants to trickle down the message to benefit others.
That's it from us. Thank you so much once again for choosing us. My name is Patricia Lukoma. Good night, but UBC programming continues.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Do you trust me?
Go!
He escaped.
I want my Yeti back! Where's my show? Where is she? Fine. You're a monster. Run away and never return.
Thank you for this journey. No matter how it ends.
I don't know what comes next. But I don't regret any of this.
This weekend on UBC.
In a momentous leap of celebrating and showcasing Ugandan success stories, today we have decided to sit down with an engineer who decided to expand his horizons into farming.
If you're not on the table of deciding the economy, then you are on the menu for eating. On the show, we talk to an engineer who is embracing smart farming by growing a more yielding fodder that is boosting his daily milk production. The fodder crop is known as Guatemala grass.
If you are to grow like an acre of